Okay, this week on Chapters Over Coffee, we're discussing pages 55 through 109. We get a little backstory on how Isla and Grimm first meet and how things are going with Isla's powers unlocked. These few chapters are a big learning curve for Isla, with powers and accepting how her life turned out. And then I put in here, I will admit, Oro has some redeeming qualities these chapters and isn't as much of an asshole anymore.
Nah, he can
And
be sweet.
I can give him that much for now.
He definitely was like the type of person she needed with how she's feeling and trying to
Yes.
cope with all of this. He was there for her in the perfect way. Said like the right things and
He like pulled her out of that drowning sense.
yeah.
Okay, starting off with a chapter from the past. This is the first time that Isla meets Grimm. She used her starstick and ended up in the Nightshade realm, where she was running from guards and her starstick wouldn't work again. If anybody figured out who she was dead. She wondered what he would do if he found her. But before the guards could find her, Isla found an unlocked door that led to another hallway with all doors locked. At the last door, she started pounding, and a lady opened the door, told Isla she was late, and handed her some clothes and told her to join the rest. She was then shoved into a room. When the woman comes back, she smears red across her mouth. And when I read this, to me, I picture like a little kid putting on makeup, like where they're smearing the lipstick around the way it's described, because it just said that she smeared red across her mouth. So to me, it's like a little
Yeah.
kid putting lipstick on. From there, she was put with a dozen other women, but she blended in perfectly. All the women were told to get into position. Isla was confused as to what was going on, and that's when Grimm finally walks in. And she describes him as the tallest man she had ever saw, a foot and a half taller than her, with long black hair like spilled ink that fell across his forehead and curled around his ears, and he wore a permanent frown till his eyes landed on Isla. His look was strange and curious. He calls her out and she is to follow him, but when she didn't move, he was surprised. And this brings me back to that bonus chapter we read in book one, that when he said that she was defiant. Like this is what I think that he meant by, because she didn't follow him like she was supposed to, because she didn't know what was going on at the time. Isla wanted to use her star stick, but it was still dead and lifeless. They went to a room where Grim lunged at her, pressing her against the wall. His gaze was hungry, full of desire. He wanted to kiss her. Isla realized all the women were there to be chosen for the ruling line, and he didn't know who she was. I believe he did know, and that's why he reacted the way he reacted the first time when he looked at her strange and curious.
Maybe he sensed her like she was different from the other ones because of she was half and half, I guess.
That, and
But
he
I
he
feel
sensed
like
no curse too. He would have sensed the not her not having the curse either.
yeah.
She's never been this close to a man before and never felt the way she was feeling. Grim asked her, "Is this okay?" And when she said yes, his lips were on hers. She had never been kissed before, but she thought he was attractive. Just as he deepened the kiss, Isla grabs her dagger and stabs him in the chest, inches from his heart. And this makes me believe, is this why he calls her Heart or Heart Eater? Is this where it stems from?
Well, I think it also stems from the fact that she was a wildling. She was but yeah, I think it also plays into just being a wildling, being a heart eater. Um
I'd like to think it's
that
because she stabbed him close to the heart. It would make it more like kind of cutish in a weird way.
And that probably does. Yeah, their first meeting, she tries to, like, stab him in the heart. Or, like, well, she doesn't, like, try to stab him in the heart. She knows it's not gonna kill him. She didn't stab him in the heart on purpose. She just did it long enough to get away, which we find out a little
Later
later on.
on.
But yeah, I think it's definitely a good play on words with how everything kinda comes full circle with that.
Yes. After he released her, she was able to run out the door and use her star stick. And I know like we get that second chapter here and a few chapters, but like I need more of their interaction. Like, how did they start to become friends first or then like lovers after? Like, I need
Think
the in
we're
betweens.
definitely gonna get quite a few more chapters on all of that. And I gonna say that, like, by the end of the book, if her and Oro are still together, it's not looking good for book 3. Like, we're gonna get full on memory, and I don't know, she's either gonna step away from both of them, or she's just gonna jump back in with Grimm. But it's not looking good for Oro, and he's redeeming himself
I know, but
hardcore hardcore right now.
I still feel it's like more friendship. I feel
Oh,
like it's
yeah,
more of a friendship bond
for
than
sure, but for sure. But he's slowly fallen for her. Like, he's slowly opening
yeah.
up. I mean, he introduces her to, I'm going to assume, one of his best friends.
Yeah, she was one
I mean, they've been friends for fucking years,
since they
centuries.
were kids because their
So,
moms were friends. Now, how would you pronounce her name? Because it can go Enya or Anya.
I said Enya. I love Enya the singer, so her name's spelled the same way. So I went with Enya. Until I hear video saying otherwise, it's Enya for me. You can you do you.
See, I was going by Enya, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know somebody whose name is Anya. It's spelled differently, but um,
What were we talking about? Oh, so I feel that, yeah. Well, we were talking about him opening up,
yeah, I
and he's gonna fall for her,
think it was
and then she's gonna rip
heartbroken.
the Band-Aid. She's gonna kick him in the dick.
Listen, as long as he doesn't throw a little tantrum like Tamlin did in the spring court, as long as he doesn't forget about his
I don't
people.
know.
As long
I
as
don't
he
know.
doesn't forget.
Maybe he'll get with Enya.
See, when I read their story, I'm like, them two. Them two. Why? Unless it's more of a
Maybe
brotherly sister bond
maybe
between the two of them.
mm, I mean, it could be. I don't know.
Because they've known each other for so
I'm sure
long.
he'll meet somebody. He'll
Fingers
be
crossed.
fine. He's old. He's fine. He's
He's old.
fine. He's fine. He's old.
I guess
He's like
Isla's just the first
this
one of
baby.
he's like the first one in however long, if anything, like serious type. He's got plenty of
Yeah,
time.
I mean, he's never allowed himself to be serious with anybody else. He was just a man whore. Um, he probably wasn't. It was probably like 2 people in the last 500 years. So, I mean,
My money's on Cleo being one of them.
no. Oh, maybe that's why she doesn't like Isla. She's moving in on her man.
You never know.
Oh, no. Why would you say that? No, I don't like that. No.
Sorry.
I don't know, maybe him and Enya were like a frenzy thing.
Oh, friends with
You scratch my back,
benefits.
I scratch yours. We know each other really well.
This
Why
is
not take
like
it a little further? Who knows?
kind of off topic, but not off topic because it's not going into the next chapter. Is I was going through like our older podcasts and realized how wrong we were with some of the stuff we were talking
That
about.
that's the fun of it though,
I
like building
know.
things. And I like I like that we go from episode to episode with like, "Oh my god, it's this. It's gotta be this. I stayed
And
on
we
this
were
hill." And then
wrong.
it's like, "Ah, fuck." Like,
Yep.
yeah, that didn't age very well at all. Not at all.
I mean, we've had a few things correct.
But
We definitely got a
it's
few
cool.
things,
It's cool.
but some things were just like totally off.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
Do you want to start this one?
No, go ahead.
I feel like I do all the talking. Okay,
Okay.
so
Go. Go
oh,
ahead.
with Isla's nightshade powers unlocked, it had begun to unravel her mind. She remembered Grimm's word after the centennial. Remember us, heart. You will remember, then you'll come back to me. She says she'll never go back to him, and nothing can change his betrayal. Never say never.
Exactly.
Never say never. Isla kept going in and out of consciousness. She blinked and she saw Grimm with his arms curled beneath her. This, I wonder if she was like, because I know she was with Oro, like she was laying next to Oro, and he was like holding her hand. I think at this was this point. I wonder though if she was like imagining him as Grimm, like she preferred it to be Grimm there with her rather than Oro.
I think in that moment, I mean, it's possible. I think that with everything that's going on, I she's still kind of fighting the denial. She could have it could have been a flash of when he picked her up in the place of mirrors and put her against the wall and,
Right.
um and I think she's so confused that those memories are fighting the surface when she doesn't want them to.
This is like a random thought I had. I believe the necklace was hers previously. Like he had gifted it to her once before he wiped her
I could see
memories.
I could see that.
Why? That's why I believe. And I wonder if that's why she can't take it off. He's
I could
not
see
gonna
that.
allow it. He's not gonna allow it to come off this time. That is my theory, and I'm gonna stick to it, whether I'm wrong or right. It sounds
Yeah,
good.
I can see that happening.
Okay, back to the chapter. Her head pounded, and there were voices, whispers everywhere from every direction. She could feel everything. A million voices fighting for her attention. Aura wanted to find her a wildling master, but she refused. She was afraid she'd harm them. And I believe this is more to it. I also believe it's because she didn't want to see Tara or Poppy. Because those were the only two masters left.
Oh yeah, I mean, she probably just automatically assumed that it was going to be one of them that he was going to go and try to find for her. Um, so I don't blame her on that. And I also, don't blame her for not wanting to go there. I mean, those are her people. She doesn't want to, if she describes herself, she's life and death. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's going to take the chance of killing what few people are left. I wouldn't want to go there either.
This is where she asked Aura to take her somewhere she wouldn't hurt anyone. So he flew them to Wild Isle because everything was dead there, so she couldn't kill anything.
Mhm.
The voices were still too much for her and too loud. Aura told her that she was inadvertently summoning everything. It got to the point to where it made her sick, and she didn't want
Love
Oro to leave her side.
and I love that he goes and he holds her hair and, like
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, man, brownie point. Brownie point.
Yes, like I said,
Just 1, but brownie point."
redeeming qualities in these next few chapters. I don't know, was it this part? But she says that doing hair is not his specialty. I don't
Yeah.
remember if it was this section or if it was another
It's
that where they're together.
actually it's actually the next page where he's trying to, like he's combing her hair and he's trying to pull it back in a ribbon,
Mm.
but it's literally page 65.
Mm.
Because that's when he tells her, and I wrote some of these notes down and stuff. Um, but when we get there, I also like how when she told him not to leave her, he said never wildling. But like it wasn't kind of like a mock of who she is. Like it was kind of like a sweet thing. It reminded
Yeah.
me of like his version of Grimm calling her heart eater or heart or whatever.
Or
Just
when he
like
calls her love.
love. Yeah.
I picture when he says love in a British accent. It fits. It just fits. Um okay, so she didn't want Aura to leave her, and then but she really wanted Tara at that moment, but the betrayal was still
Mhm.
there. At this point, the Place of Mirrors had become their temporary home for her, Oro, and her two guards. What do we say? Abel,
Ivel.
Ivel, and Seal.
Yep. And
The
can't
first
forget Ella.
was Ella.
Ella, in
Was
and
she
out.
there?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep. She's in and out, bringing things that they needed.
totally missed that part in my notes.
Can't forget Ella. She's been like
I
number one
know.
from the
She's in
beginning.
my notes
So
later on. She's on my notes later on. I didn't exclude her. The first few days, she was in pain, sick, or sleeping. Her fever turned into chills, and she felt nauseous all the time. Oro looked like he hadn't slept for days, so Isla tried to tell him to go. Do what?
I'm just putting out there brownie point number 2.
Oh, yes. But he
Listen, I'm
said
gonna count down.
he had strict orders not to leave her side. And then this is where he tells her that he liked her hair, that it shines nicely in the sun. And I thought it was so cheesy. I thought
See, and these
it was
these
cheesy.
are the notes I was talking about that like he tells her I like your hair. And cuz that was right after she says you have many skills, doing hair isn't one of them. And that's when he said I like your hair. And then it shines nicely in the sun. And that he
It was
didn't know
so
it until after the curses. But then he tells her also that he likes her eyes. And
they're
they
his
became his
favorite
favorite color.
after.
But after the curses, after everything. And then he gets flustered. Like he doesn't know how to put his fucking
And
feelings
she
out there.
and she teased it like she did everything like in a teasing
Come
manner
on
towards
now.
him.
Can you tell me that if Daryl had issues putting it to
You
words and he was
wouldn't.
getting flustered, you wouldn't fuck with him even just a little bit? Oh, now you ain't got a comment for everything. Like now you
Oh,
don't know what to say. You got shit to say about everything, buddy.
speaking, and
Like,
this is
come
off
on now.
topic.
Yeah,
Have you
I really liked their banter because it was real. It was like, I mean, a guy who's cocky, always has something to say, is full of himself, like knows who he is, and
seen
then he can't find the
the
words
words
to
to
say. Like
express? But he's never
he's got feelings. He's got feelings, and he doesn't know how to express them. So
he's never
you can't
done
not fuck
that.
with somebody. You can't not fuck with them when they're like that.
Okay, so she teases him when she notices he's getting flustered, but then she proceeded to point out all her flaws, asking if she was his favorite and like all her flaws. And he told
Mhm.
her that she was his favorite everything. Uncomfortable, Isla told Oro he could leave for a bit because she was feeling better. He knew she was lying and pointed out that her skin was warm and could pass as a sunling. So she gets on to
Mhm.
this about that he should be with a sunling. and then proceeded to ask if he wished she wasn't everything she is. And his response is the parts you don't seem to like about yourself that I love most. But she wanted to accept it, but instead she fell asleep.
Process overload. I get it.
And she's still recovering, from her powers being unleashed, and your
I
camera
like
froze there on me. You're good
huh?
now, but it like your camera
Oh,
started freezing.
please no.
We're good. We're good though. You were saying though.
Oh, no. I just say going into page 68, we're about to get another memory from that missing year of her life so rudely taken away.
Yes.
I want to know, how did he find her? How did he know to go there? That
Yes.
that's where she was.
When I go through my notes, and I'll point this out. It's a little bit down because I don't want to give it away just yet, but like I'm curious on something too. Like, okay, let me start this and then I'll tell you what it is. But yeah, I
Okay.
don't know how he. That's why I'm saying, like in the first before, like, did he know who she was, and that's how he found her, and that's why he looked at
Maybe,
her
but how would
curious.
his how did he know who she was? Like, if how would he have found out? Like, how would he have known who she was ahead of time or whatever?
Does he know
I
she
wanna
had the
know
star stick? You want to know what?
maybe? Oh, maybe he knew about her from his guard guy.
That's what I'm saying, like her dad.
Maybe that okay, yeah, maybe that's what he sensed by her. He stood in the corner of her room, like,
Like a creeper.
watching. She's practicing in heels and in a dress and everything, and then, he's
She was
standing in a
undressing.
corner.
She
Like,
was
what the fuck?
undressing.
At least he was like, "Hey ho, I'm back here. Like, let's not do this right now." But
Yeah, because Isla started to undress when she noticed a shadow and that it flickered. As soon
I
as
need
she
a point
had,
of view from him on
oh
this
yeah,
chapter.
oh maybe like when we get, because she is making the special edition, like our Light Lurk. So I wonder if I'll get another bonus chapter. Because yeah, I need his point of view on these befores.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
as soon as she had her dagger, she turned around and came face to face with Grim. He had found her. Isla hoped her stabbing him would buy her enough time to figure out a plan. Before she could breathe, Grim grabbed her by the arm with the dagger, shoving her up against the glass wall and twisting her arm painfully so her own knife was at her throat. It must be her thing, like their thing, shoving her up against the walls.
Listen, everybody's got a kink. Everybody got something. He knows she liked it the first time.
I think hers
So,
is stabbing. She's she stabs him in the thigh here.
yeah. Yeah, they have like a whole Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibe going
There
on.
you
Like
go.
once they
Yes.
find each other out or whatever, that's kind of how they go at each other. Um, yeah,
Okay, so
that's
he's like, "You cursed heart eater, you dare come to my realm disguised and to assassinate me." Isla was sure he was going to kill her. With her free hand, she used the weapon disguised as a bracelet and stabbed him in the thigh. And this is like we learn in book one that she's always armed, no matter what. And here's my thing. He roared, okay, where the hell's Tara and Poppy? Did they not hear him?
Mm. I wondered the same thing. Like, why did nobody like run in there?
I imagine they have her like because they're there with her because later on we find out that she couldn't sneak through the front door. So like how did they not hear him roaring because he got stabbed in the thigh? Nobody came to check what the hell
It's
was
like
going on.
I can never. But what does he sound like when he roars? Like
I,
roars, like
I can't
oh,
picture it.
or is that a growl or what? It like, but it's like those videos where like he sucked in his lip, like like I can't picture that stuff.
I can't either because mine look all silly. Like mine are
Was
not
it?
serious.
Did he sound like Chewbacca? Like, what did he sound like?
Chewbacca.
Listen,
I'm gonna picture now. It's the Chewbacca
listen. This is why I like graphic audios because they do the shit for you. You don't have to imagine what a roar sounds like or a growl. Like he growled and shoved her. Like, what the fuck does that sound like?
I
I
love when
don't even know
people
when to insert I don't even know when to insert the Henry Cavill memes of his Witcher days, of him like doing his little type thing. Like, is that a grunt? Is that a growl? Like, what is that? Like, is
everybody
that what I'm
considers
inserting
them
here?
everybody considers them differently. I love when people do the licking the lips. When the guy has licked their lips and like everybody's like trying to mimic what they feel like it looks like.
It's ick.
It's not attractive.
Ick. 100% ick. It's not cool. Not cool, boys. Not at
It
all.
just makes you look weird.
Mm-mm.
Okay. The dagger was no longer at her neck as it had fell, but before she could escape, an invisible grip was choking her. So we got the shadow daddy coming out. Grim asks, "Was this your plan to keep me from the Centennial? To try and break the curses? Did you mean to make a fool of me?" Excuse me. The pressure got tighter and her vision went white. He then asked her who she's working for and how she traveled to Nightshade so quickly. You gotta let her breathe to answer.
Like how it he released her like he could read her thoughts.
Yeah.
Um, so is that kind of like a clue as to how he knew who she was the first time?
See, but he can do emotions. So did she display an emotion?
Oh yeah.
Like, hey, you're killing me. I
Yeah,
can't answer
that
you.
makes sense. That makes sense.
After Grim finally released her, Isla backed into a corner, raised her dagger, and called him a monster. Grim laughed and said, "I'm the monster when wildlings eat the hearts of men." And see, this is where this, like, at this point, does he know she doesn't have, she's not cursed, but he has to, like, make it seem like he believes she's cursed? Or my other thought was he knew she wasn't cursed not because he can sense it, but they have met previously, so she probably confided that into him during their year together. But he had to make it seem like I only know because I can sense it.
Yeah.
So it's got to be one of those two things. Like he either really does sense curses because they can make curses, or it's he found out that year they were together. Because she stated that she realized that Grim didn't know the curse didn't apply to her. And then he brought up that Isla was the one who stabbed him. He raised his shirt to show her the angry scar just inches from his heart. She thought stabbing him was a mistake because she panicked. Grim then demanded, "How did you get into my realm?" She didn't respond, but she was panicked and was trying to not look where the starstick was hidden. Using her fear as a cover, Isla took the blade still in her hand, resting the tip under her chin and telling him to get out of her room. Before she could add more pressure, he vanished, and that's when Isla realized the nightshades have the same ability as her starstick. And I never put two and two together. Like when we found out that he could transport, I never put two and two together about the Star Stick. I was still thinking it was from Star Isle.
Literally thought that, like, it made sense because she called it a star stick, that it
Yeah.
was from Star Isle, and we had thought that everybody could fucking teleport
Yeah, I
anyways.
did. I
So,
did.
it made sense that that probably, or not probably, but that it did come from there.
Like I
So,
truly believe they could all teleport, but I was like completely off on that one.
yeah.
I wonder, and I've noticed, okay, so we're at this point, we're like 70 some pages into the book, and we've barely gotten anything with Cleo. Like, and I know she kind of distanced herself from the mainland, but like, I need to know what she's up to. Can't leave me on the cliffhanger that she's building her legion and stuff, and like, what is she up
Yeah,
to?
last we heard, she was on the winning team side, so
That was it. Like, that's the only time we really saw
then
her.
she was gone.
Yeah. And I imagine we're going to see more of Soren in her place and not her.
I don't know, maybe she'll have a redeeming quality or something also.
I don't know. I don't know if I still trust her. Like, she's had it out for Isla since like their first meeting and stuff. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Oops. Okay, going into the next chapter, Isla started awake after having her second memory. She went to practice her powers, but nothing happened. The dirt was still dead in her hands. I thought this whole oh no, it's later on. Okay, because this is where he hands her the rock, and he wanted her to focus all her mind and energy on moving it. I liked the pebble one, like
Yeah.
further on. After a while, her focus slipped, her thoughts poured in worries, anxiety, and grim. Her mind's always going to grim. But I wonder though if it's because of that link that she's Nightshade. Like, do you, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, do they have like that sense of who their rulers are? Like, from their powers? Like, you see what I'm
I don't
saying?
know.
So, like, she's kind of
I
like,
don't
she would kind of be connected to Grimm through her Nightshade powers because he's the ruler of Nightshade. So, like, does it like tether them like that way? Like where you would know who the ruler is, like who's the higher up?
That's a good thought. Since eh, their life is attached to yours anyways, that you would
Right.
have that sense of, like, familiarity and everything with the ruler. It's never really implied that way or,
It just like
like,
popped in my head just
spoken.
now.
It's yeah. I don't know, maybe it's one of those unspoken things that happens.
Oh, could be.
That's a good thought.
For days, she sat in silence, but the rock never moved. Oro told Isla it takes time to learn how to wield. It took him years for each one. Isla didn't have years if Grimm's destruction could happen at any moment. And I feel like this is just like she's conjuring it up in her head of what he's gonna do.
Oh, I
And
mean, it makes sense. What she's seen, heard his voice, so she automatically assumes that it's him doing all of it. Um, I don't think so.
I think it's her like conjuring it up. And then it doesn't help that Oro's kind of like, oh, yeah, he would do this. So in her mind, she's already like struggling with everything. It's gonna keep it in her mind that way. Like, oh, yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Like, but she seems to be like on the fence, but like she leans towards like that he would do it. Oro told her that some ruler's mastery of power is like a key clicking into a lock. She lashed out, telling Oro he doesn't get it. He never knew what it was like to be alone in your incompetence. And I love that we learn a little bit about Oro's backstory since he opened up.
Being
He
a
actually,
real life moment with her.
and this answers your question from book one, like towards the beginning when he first gilded gold. You wanted to know if he had done it, like if he could do people, and he actually has. He killed somebody.
Intentionally
Yes,
did it to a
unintentionally, but
person. Gotta put that out there. Unintentionally. He
yes.
was a baby. He
I think he
was
was
a
around
fucking
teens.
baby. He
I
was a
think he was like
child.
his teens, close to teens. At a few months old, he set his crib on fire, and to me, because like his mom found him sitting in a ring of fire, Jack Jack. I pictured Jack Jack in this. He was forced to train as soon as possible. They believed he'd destroy the castle with a tantrum. So he was sent to each isle to learn for a few years to master each ability. Control was his first lesson. Control your emotions, or you could bring the palace down. Control your heart, because allowing anyone to access that power could be ruinous. Control your tongue, because you're not the firstborn and your opinion doesn't matter. I feel bad for him for that. Like, just because he's not the firstborn doesn't mean anything. And I know you're like in a royal type family, but still. One day, Oro was playing with his friends. Before he knew what was happening, he turned an attendant to solid gold. And then his parents are celebrating that he can do it, and he's over there grieving because he killed somebody by turning them to
Yeah.
gold. But yet he
And
wasn't
he was a
allowed.
baby. He was a baby because
Was
he's
he?
1,000 years old. He's like a
and
million right now.
and like they made him hide it though because he wasn't the firstborn. But yet at the same time they're celebrating him because he has that power. And he's like torn because he couldn't control it because nobody else has had that power for so many years. So it cost him for years he wouldn't wield his powers because he was ashamed of his abilities and the guilt ate at him. So he tells her that she will get this and she's not alone. So the next day, she snuck out, going to the edge of the aisle, and let all her emotions run wild. First, she thought about her parents. Then she grieved the little girl who had grown up locked away like a secret. Then she thought about Celeste or Aurora. And last, she thought about Grim. Always Grim. After hours, she began to forgive herself. The incessant, anxious, and cruel thoughts weren't so strong. Something in her chest thrummed, coming to life, then caught a key clicking into a hole. I like that like reference.
Yeah.
And that's when the rock began to vibrate, squirmed beneath her, and then it moved. And then we get back to like the teasing coming up and stuff between her and Oro. Uh, from then on, Isla practiced moving large and small objects. She asked Oro to station guards at Star Isle Bridge to prevent the attacks. And this is jumping a little bit, but if she has guards there, then how did they not catch the rebels later on? Like I know they used the tunnels, but how did they get through the guards to get to these tunnels? But she hasn't been able to visit them. During their training, Oro brought out a blindfold and she teased him if it brought back memories and asked if he wanted to kill her that day. And he said it was quite the opposite. All he could think about that night was her annoyingly smug face. Um, and she said it wasn't nearly as impressive as his gilding, which I think she felt bad for bringing that up after he had just like talked about his story.
Yeah. I like how she goes at him though and says, for someone who can make anything into
Hmm.
gold, I would think you would have already gifted someone you love, at least a golden apple or a golden blade of grass. Surprising herself by saying someone you love.
Yes. And his response
And an
was,
entire castle is a bit much,
it
dude.
is.
Like,
And
are
I'm
you
not
trying to compensate? Are you compensating for
for some,
something?
not every girl likes gold because I don't. I
No,
don't like gold. I'm not a
no, me
true gold,
either.
like the yellow gold.
I'm not even much of a rose gold
I like the white.
person.
Give me white gold,
White gold, platinum,
silver.
oh,
Not. Anyways. Back to her training, Oro tells her wielding power means feeling it around you and not simply seeing it. He throws a pebble and it hits the side of her head. I thought this was funny. Isla
it
then
was.
started, yes, she started to lose focus. When the next rock came, she sensed it but missed it and it hit her hip. She then felt something rising through her limbs, uncurling in her chest. I think she needed this though. Like it brought out her powers because when the next rocks hit her
Mhm.
stomach, it unleashed. So Oro told Isla to put her arms down. She rips the blindfold off, only to see sharp blades made from branches levitating in the air, all pointed at Oro. Her power had taken over. I think that she needed that little bit of push to help her kind of focus more on her power than everything
Yeah,
else around her. He does state that he was never in danger. She just needs to control her emotions when using her power, but it was very impressive because emotions undo control. So that gave Isla the push to train harder, testing the limits of her control. So for over a week, there were no memories, no more voices inside her head, and no sightings. The shadow of Grim had disappeared, but he is not gone. He is not gone.
sure.
And maybe it truly is him just checking up on her.
Like, hey, bitch, I'm still here. Can't forget
Don't
about me
forget
that
about me.
easy.
Yeah. Like you ain't getting rid of me that easy. I'm he's gonna say I'm sticking around for good.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether you like me or not. Okay, going into the
I
next chapter. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
No, what were you going to say? Were you going to talk about the
I
next
was
chapter?
I
Oh,
was.
I was just going to say we get introduced to Enya.
Yeah, and, I like how we open up this chapter, with her having a little bit of confidence to continue her training on the wildling Newland, um, so that way she can continue to train and be there to help her people and not be away from them for too long since they're still trying to, kinda acclimate themselves with every change that has happened since the curses were broken. Um, and she's got this whole plan about not wanting to bring them just provisions, but wants to get volunteers to help them teach them skills that they didn't need before, how to prepare different types of foods, um, and a dozen other things that she can't think of. And he immediately thinks of Enya. And I like her.
I do too. I
I
do
like
too.
her. And I'm hoping she's not somebody that blows up in my face.
I don't think
But
she
I don't
would.
think she I don't
She's
think
been
she will be
around.
because it's not like somebody new that he's met in the last couple 100 years or whatever, but she's been there since he was little. She's gonna know every fault, every flaw, just all of that. And I like her.
I do too. We did learn that she's also one of his representatives. So she goes into
Yep.
when he can't make it, she goes in his place. And then she thanks
Um,
Isla for showing them that Oro does still know how to smile.
yeah. It also he he trusts her with being a representative. Um, she is the one who taught the Sunlings how to survive in the dark after the curses. She helped set up systems that allowed the crops, oh my gosh, the crops to grow and life to happen even though they couldn't be outside in the daylight.
Mhm.
And, he tells her that she's good at coming up with solutions for problems that don't even exist yet. So she's like an exceptional person at being able to adapt and overcome in certain situations,
And
which
she's willing to
is
help, like, others, even, like,
yeah.
different realms. I do love that the first thing that when she sees them coming in is, "It's a wonder either of you train at all with how much you look like you went to bed one another."
Yep.
I love, like, that's the first thing, like, she points out. That was
Yeah.
gold. Unintended. Um, I almost sensed, like, a little bit of jealousy even though she said she wasn't jealous because she was curious to how they knew each other. Like, Isla was curious to how Enya and Oro knew each other. And that's when Enya said that their mothers were friends. Like, it doesn't state, like, she was
I
jealous, but I kind of, like,
I didn't take it that way,
no?
only because Isla's never had that interaction with people like that.
They're always been
That
kind of
she's still
afraid of
trying to
her.
figure out kind of like what love is, that I don't think she even quite knows jealousy, at least not with Oro. I can't say that she might not feel that way about Grimm because they've got this deeper connection that even though
Right.
she can't remember, like it's there. But I think that she's just genuinely not seen this sort of interaction with anybody. She's been locked away. She has had to sneak around to see different situations, different types of people, that I think that she was just genuinely curious, like, "Oh, how do you guys know each other?" I take it as a jealous like
I,
tinge
I thought
on
it was
any
like a
part,
hint.
but
Although I think she also can't imagine him having friends because of the way he is. Like
yeah.
so guarded.
Yeah.
Like he's so
Yeah.
guarded and doesn't open up a whole
Mhm.
lot. So I think it was like a shock too that, oh, you have friends?
Yeah.
So you pretty much covered all of that. Um, she transported the dozen volunteers to the wildling new land using the star stick. Once there, what?
Sorry.
No, 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 go.
When it said that she transported them all and they barely fit, I was waiting for somebody to, like, lose an elbow or something, or, like, a ponytail, or, it was gonna be, like, one of those, like, zip and you're gone, like, your butt cheek is gone or something, like, like, it just
It
shaves it
didn't.
off, or,
It
like,
didn't fit.
it, like, burns it off like a laser or something like that, like, it's there and then it's not.
I'm
Like,
thinking
that's
of like a jammed pack elevator or like the subway
yeah.
trains. Like you see like when the subway
Well,
trains
even
and people are like shoving in so the doors can like close. That's how I pictured
yeah,
like her trying to like
even then you gotta
fit
watch, not lose a boob.
everybody.
I mean, somebody's
Something.
bound to lose something.
But
It's
okay. So once at the Newlands, she introduced everyone and let them know she brought them to help. She wanted Enya's help with the stars with Star Isle as well. I love how like she felt like what's the word? Safe enough to fall asleep on a bench, like in the middle of the village. But when she woke up,
People, that's her home.
she's finally like connecting with them more
Yeah,
than she ever has. But when she woke up, she panicked because she thought she was back in prison.
that was minus a brownie point because he should have thought that through a little bit more and maybe, like, put her in a different bedroom. I get wanting to put her in a familiar place, going from falling asleep on a bench to putting her in her bedroom, but I don't know well,
Or been right there
no,
with her.
she did tell him how she felt trapped like a bird in a cage,
Mm-hmm.
and so, I mean I was like, "Minus a brownie point right there, babe. Not a good
So
look
what are
for
we
you."
at?
But he we're back down to 2, maybe 3 if I forgot the first set of chapters. But, yeah, we're down to 2. He's not doing so good. You can't keep losing him. But he was there when she woke up, so I'll
Yes.
give him that.
Because she asked him how her people were, and Enya has a system for them to store water and food. So this time, Oro says now he wants her to work on growing something during training. And that leads us into the next chapter, where he made an orange rose sprout from his palm. And then it was Isla's turn. She sat for several minutes without any results. This time, the woods had not hurt her when she walked through them. Oro instructed her to close her eyes and to let her mind go still. When she opened her eyes, she found the smallest of flowers blooming, but then the rose shriveled up and died. Um, and this was like she struggles with finding herself during this one because she believes that she's poison, that she cannot be wildling without nightshade. She'll always be death and she'll always be darkness. And this, I think, is like she's got to learn how to battle the two, like to separate them. And she has nobody to help her with nightshade, like her nightshade powers. So she's gonna struggle
Yeah,
until she seeks Grimm's gonna be the only one. Until she seeks him out, she's gonna struggle because Oro's not gonna know anything because he doesn't have
yeah,
those.
yeah. Then we earn a brownie point
Yes, here's what
because
I
she
did.
kinda has this emotional breakdown.
In my notes, I
So
wrote, "Oh, Oro out here saving the day."
yeah, yeah, exactly. He goes and he tells her that she can decide what she is, no one else,
Yes.
and she's got tears streaming down her face, full on breakdown. He's trying to console her. She tells him, and I love how she's honest. Like, I love how
Yes.
she lays it all out. I don't want to rule. I don't want my life tied to thousands of others. I don't want to have all of this responsibility. She knows that that makes her selfish and awful, and she has no right to be upset, but she is. She wants a life. And then she says, worse than all of that is, I don't deserve any of this power. I am no one.
Mhm.
And then, of course, you're not no one, you're Isla Crown, and you are the most powerful person in all of the realm.
So does that
And,
make her more powerful than him? Because technically, since they're tethered, she has his powers plus she has Nightshade that he doesn't have. So she
well,
has all
and
six realms.
I think that's what makes her more powerful by itself is Nightshade because they even say that the Nightshade are more powerful than ever since the curses were broken. So I think that that kind of tips the scales for her.
See, but I wonder though, is that makes them more powerful is because they can work in the dark. They're meant for the night. They can blend in, their shadows and stuff. You got
Well,
them shadow daddies,
yeah, that
maybe
does make
shadow
them
mommies
strong. They
too.
can they can sense your emotions. They can play on that. So if you even show an ounce of fear, they're gonna play on that. They're gonna fuck with you so
Hmm.
bad. And so, yeah.
Um, she starts tearing herself down at this point, telling Oro she's poisoned and she wants him to steal her powers. But I'm curious because
Mhm.
it's never really stated how does one steal them without the bond maker? Like the bond maker is to transfer. So how like they're linked because that was the biggest thing was him linking himself to somebody and them stealing that power. Is it to like steal
Yeah,
like
I don't
you just
know.
use their power to kill them? Is that what that is? And then you just take the
Well,
power? It's never really stated how you steal one's power that way.
no. And I wonder if we'll find out more, whether it's this book or the next one. I assume that we'll get more backstory with that. Um, I would hope, I would think. 'cause that's a pretty big deal. It's not just, like, something minor. I mean,
Right.
that's I just hope we don't find out in a betrayal.
I'm done with these betrayals. One too many.
Yeah.
Oro believes someone made her believe she's less than extraordinary. His guesses were her guardians and Grim, which he didn't call him Grim. He just said him.
Yeah.
Um, he also explains to her that she is not the poison, she is the cure, because she is the one that broke the curses.
Yeah.
He also notices that she hasn't been sleeping and wonders if this is why. He wishes she could see herself the way he does. She knew he was right. She just needed to save herself. She wasn't going to let anyone use her anymore. She was able to grow a flower and it not die in her hands. Um, I love that she's finally going to stand up for herself from now. Like again, and I say again because in book one, she stood up for herself in book one. Like she didn't let the fact that she didn't have powers bring her down.
Yeah.
But like at the end, once she got those powers, is when she started losing herself, and like that self doubt and everything like hit her. So I'm glad that she's like finally realizing, hey, I need to stand up for myself. And of course, Oro helped, definitely helped her with that. And hopefully it sticks that way for her. But the following day, Isla was able to sneak out the front castle for the first time. Or at least she thought she did. The moment her bare feet hit the ground, she was forming that link with the power source. The woods knew her. Moss grew on the tree she touched, and grass grew to a wild height. Flowers spiraled down the branch. When Isla took off running, trees moved their branches, vines on the ground curled back towards their roots, and animals waited for her to pass. She kept running, and a bridge of branches formed before her. It was as if parts of her that had been dormant were now awakening. A flower in her chest finally bloomed. Isla thought nothing could break that concentration until she saw Grim watching her, which caused her to fall. But Seal and I'm gonna forget how to pronounce her name.
Ivel.
Ivel were there to catch her. So she thought she got to sneak out of the castle, but they're always there with her. And we're starting to like in these chapters, we're starting to see like her wildling powers. I am still so curious what her nightshade is. Like, give me some hint
Yeah.
of what her nightshade powers could be.
This next chapter was one of my faves.
Yes, yes, yes.
I feel like it really sealed her feeling accepted, like,
I was
actually feeling like a part of the wildling community, since she was locked away for so long. Um, I thought for sure she was getting a fucking bear.
I thought she was getting the stag. I thought it was gonna be the
Oh, so
stag.
did I, and I was like, "Oh!" I pictured, like, the Patronus from Harry Potter,
Mm.
but I also pictured, like, what a druid transforms into on WoW, and they're really fucking pretty, and one of my favorites. So I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna picture the stag from WoW, and then it's just gonna look like a Patronus because I like how they glow." So that's what I pictured in my head when that came,
I also
but
felt
I'm a nerd, so
sad for her because of the why, or at least why she believes they were bonded.
yeah.
Okay, so by the time the volunteers left, the wildlings had their homes fixed, a steady food supply, and new skills and resources. So Isla sent,
Fucking long did that take?
I think they were only there for like a week. I believe a
That
week or
was
so.
quick.
But if the wildlings start like using their power, like they can help with like I'm assuming with
Yeah.
like growing the stuff.
But
Um,
just to get all of that, I mean, new skills, resources, homes fixed, they only had a small group of people. So to be able to get all of that done in a short amount of time, they're very sufficient on what they can fucking do.
right.
Like they worked hard.
Well, I know like they took supplies too. So like she's been bringing them like food supplies
Well,
and stuff from Lightlark to also kind of help while they were learning to like fend for themselves in a
okay,
different
which
way.
makes the whole teleporting thing even more stuffy. If they were bringing shit with them,
Um, she sent Oro and her two guards back to Lightlark because she felt safe on the Wildling Island or the Newlands. The next part, we get a little bit more info on her mother. Her mother knew everyone in the village because she'd play and she'd talk with them. And then Ren states they thought something was going on and got curious when she hadn't taken a bonded, which is an animal, damn it, animal companion. Isla tells Ren she'd like to pick a
bonded.
companion. Well, I'm just like, that's how
I
she
know, I was just being
was like,
Ren. I was just being
oh,
Ren
yeah,
because she
because
goes,
Ren
"Oh, an animal companion." A bonded.
bonded. Yeah. Like, okay, excuse me.
Sorry.
No, I was like, wait a minute. I'm just reading
I
what
had to
she
play
was
it to
right, what
that.
she was saying. It worked. Um,
Correction.
Isla tells Ren she'd like to pick a companion, but you don't choose the bonded. The bonded chooses you.
Which makes
Um,
sense that that's how it would go.
right.
Like, "I'm gonna choose a ferret." That ferret don't
Yeah, because
fucking
she
want
wanted to
you.
choose like an insect. She wanted something like
Yeah.
simple and easy.
Well, like a butterfly. Yeah, she could transport it back and forth, like, you know. I thought, "How the fuck are you gonna transport a bear?
Yeah, because she
Where
said
the
this thing was
fuck are
like
you gonna put a
huge.
bear?"
She said it was huge. The
Well,
ceremony.
even Lynx, she said it barely came up to its shoulder. So, I mean,
Yeah, I'm
he's
trying to like
huge.
picture. Okay, the bear I pictured Merida's mom. Like when she turns into the bear. That's kind of how I pictured. Just like what it had branches also. Didn't it have
Yeah.
something on its head. The ceremony
I
was
don't know,
held.
I kinda thought of a zombie bear. A bear with rabies, I don't know.
A bear with rabies. Okay, so the ceremony was held on a sacred part of the Newland. It was the oldest part, born of seeds and creatures taken straight from Lightlark. Isla wore a crown of flowers, the purple larkspur, in honor of her ancestor. Um, After a while, Ren tells Isla that this is where we leave you and to not come back till morning and to not come back without a bonded. She was given a single arrow because the rulers must put an arrow through their bonded. If you're able to wound one, it's because it's allowed you to. The trees laying in the marsh were in the shape of people, frozen in strange movements. And I question this like, is this like the ones that have passed and become one with
That's
the
how I took it.
forest?
That's how I took it because it resembled how she described when the Eldris died or when Tara I believe it Tara that was dying in book 1 and
Yes,
becoming
because
one, or was
Poppy
it
was
okay.
because Poppy was the one next to her.
Okay. Yeah, and how she was laying there and she was, like, slowly becoming part of the ground. That's how I had taken it. Maybe these were, um, some of the ones that gave their life to create. Maybe this is,
Oh,
what they
the ones that
became.
sacrificed.
Yeah,
I pictured Tafiti.
yeah.
Because that's like essentially what it is. Like that's what she did. She went into the ground and she became like the little hill in the grass and flowers. Pictured Taviti. A lot of Disney movies. A lot of Disney references.
No, I mean, that is definitely what it seems like. Although, I feel like this is in kind of a darker type of description, um, like a eerie type of
Mm, woods style.
description. Yeah.
If she returned without a bonded, it would make her look weak and unworthy of ruling her realm. The forest was now quiet. This made her realize she was alone. No one understood her. There were parts she wouldn't let Oro see. Isla started to wonder if the creatures of the forest had already assessed her and rejected her. Then a wolf appears, but before she could let her arrow loose, the wolf was gone. Next was a giant spider, but she felt no connection. And when she was like describing the spider, like it was really, really tall. You've seen the Mario movie, right? The little things that like they're going like with their legs, even though there's
Oh,
two legs.
what?
That's what I pictured. Like this tall spider with like these huge legs, but it reminds me of the little things. I don't know what they're called
What am
from the
I
Mario
thinking
movie.
of? There was something, was it the Trolls movie?
Oh,
It had, like, the little pom-pom fluff
yes.
ball or
Oh,
whatever with, like, the long legs or something. That's what I kind of pictured,
I pictured the
um,
Mario
just
movie.
in a scary way, not like, "Excuse me, I'm just gonna crawl over top of you."
Yeah, mine was the Mario movie when he's in the mushroom forest and he's following Toad, and you have these things like just going
Yeah.
over him and stuff. That's what made me think of what the spider would look like, but with more legs. And then we get the stag with branches for horns that stepped into her path. Something in her chest thrummed to life, welcoming a connection. And I believe she this was probably supposed to be her bonded. I feel like she felt that connection that this was supposed to be her bonded. But a deafening roar shook the trees, scaring off the stag. Arrow raised, Isla turned around to a giant bear. Isla shot the arrow, but the bear knocked it away, breaking it into two. She realized why Wren had seemed so intent on leaving the swamp. This area was a risk. This was the first step at gaining their trust. Isla climbed trees, thinking the bear was too heavy to climb as well, but it was right behind her. She thought she was nature. She made some small branches fall on the bear, but it did not slow it down. As Isla reached out for the next branch, the bear's horns flayed the back of her calf, but she continued to climb higher. As she was trying to focus her mind to summon her powers, the bear's breath was on her face. She saw its tongue in its mouth as it parted its teeth and roared. What did I think? I think it was a SpongeBob episode. I think it was a SpongeBob episode, and one of like the creatures was like, you got the drool coming, and like the spit flying. That's why like I pictured like this is what it's doing like in her face right now. Um, but that's when her power split the branch in half and the bear fell. Now, this is jumping a little bit, but later on, where did it go? Where did the bear go? It fell, but there was no signs of it when she gets down.
I don't know, maybe it just gave up,
You would
but
think it would get like knocked.
maybe the leopard, maybe lynx scared it off.
Well, she broke the tree branch it was on and it fell. And then that's it. But where did it go? You'd think it would be like knocked out for a few or something, or like stunned
Yeah.
by the time she gets down there. Because after the bear fell, it gave her time to look at her leg. The skin was split and the muscle was showing. This, to me, I don't know if you ever watched that show, Jacoby, Papa Roach
Oh,
on MTV.
wasn't it?
I don't remember what it's
Was it
called.
people doing the weird, like, not the weird, but
They would
like
like
all the
skateboard or biking or
yeah.
like they
Yeah.
injured themselves and like you saw their
Oh,
bones.
yeah. Yeah.
Don't remember what that show was called, but that's what like I'm picturing like her
Me
muscle
neither.
showing was
That
watching
MTV
that
was
show.
cool.
Yeah, I know. You didn't have ridiculousness 24/7.
But don't hate on that. I'm just
Scar
tired of watching the same episodes over and over.
Scarred? Scarred? Is it Scarred?
Maybe?
I only watched it because of the lead singer of Papa Roach.
Well, yeah.
I think it was Scarred. Like when their like bones pop out and stuff. Like that's what I'm like picturing, but it's her muscles.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it Scarred?
2 seasons. Yeah.
I loved that show because some people were just idiots. But yeah, that's what it made
Uh,
me think of. Isla needed to
yeah.
get moving before other creatures found her from the scent of her blood. Just as she thought, she saw two large eyes that glowed. They belonged to a massive black leopard. She tried to form a connection with nature to protect her, but she was in too much pain. The leopard then leaned down and sniffed her and then bowed its head to her. She didn't have her arrow anymore because of the bear, but the leopard lowered some more, waiting or wanting Isla to get on its back. She struggled to get on, so the leopard gripped the back of her shirt and flung her over, as it was annoyed.
I love how it's got so much fucking attitude. It
The
it's
sass
totally giving Sigale, like, her just
and Darna,
inconveniencing by like, Violet inconveniences her all the time.
but she'll
Like,
she'll stick up.
especially in Onyx Storm, where she just constantly has these snarky comments and stuff about pretty much telling Violet that she's inconveniencing her. That's exactly the type of vibe that this is giving.
But with Andarna's sass. Like I see this cat being sassy. Um, Jumping down to the forest floor, the leopard was
Oh,
looking for
excuse me.
something. Her arrow. The leopard wanted. See, this is what I'm saying. Where's the bear? Where'd
Yeah.
the bear go? How much time passed before they made it
Mm,
to the
I don't know.
floor?
Maybe it was like, oh, here comes Lynx. Getting the fuck out.
Who knows? But you think the bear would be able to take this cat on? I mean, the bear was huge.
Yeah.
Um, the leopard wanted her to complete the ceremony, so Isla stabbed it in its leg. Not reacting to the stab, the leopard picked Isla up and flung her on its back and took off. It brought her back to the village. It stopped in front of Wren, and we learned that leopard was Lynx, who was her mother's. And I love that, but at the same time, I'm sad because going into the next chapter, she like Lynx chose her because the cat grieved her mother. So it's like she didn't get her own bond. And later on, she like believes that it was let me see, I have it in my notes here.
Maybe Lynx feels that it's doing her mom a favor because they were bonded. So now, he maybe Lynx couldn't obviously protect her mom. So maybe he feels
Well,
like
she
he
did
needs to
state
protect her.
that she believes he chose her out of obligation, not fondness. And like that
Yeah.
made me sad for her because like now like she feels like she doesn't have that connection of her own. That Lynx had only chose her because of her mother.
Yeah.
He was too large to fit through the palace doors, so she had to portal him, and he didn't like that. um,
I wonder if her mom ever portaled him.
I was wondering that too, like, or did she just like let him free? But the next morning, Isla took Oro to meet Lynx, And she was outraged because Link seemed to like Oro more than her. But first, he did bare his teeth. Like when she first brought Oro in, he bared his teeth.
Mhm.
So I wonder how he'll react to Grim when Grim's introduced to him.
I don't know.
Oro is fascinated with it because he's never seen anything like it because Sun Isle only has lions and tigers, but none that size.
And Lynx likes him more than her.
Yeah, that's why she was
Butthole.
like outraged. So like I'm curious though, like how is Lynx gonna react to Grim? Is he gonna like
I don't
Grim?
know.
Or is he gonna get like that sass is gonna like come out? She
I
gave
think the sass
Lynx.
come out. I don't think he'll like Grim. I
I
think
could
it'll be
see
one of
it.
those where he, like, snaps at him every time he walks into a room or something.
Oh, I could see it. I could definitely see it. But she did give Lynx the option to go to the castle or stay on Wadley Newland Forest, and he chose to stay. But I wonder if eventually, like, she'll be able to take him because I know she said that she'd make a home for him, if I remember correctly. She said something about making a home. So, but she didn't say where, so I don't know if it's there on the Newland or if
Yeah.
like Light Lurk, like if she's gonna make somewhere for him on Light Lurk. Because if she gets Wild Isle up, like maybe that's a good place for him.
I think that that's gonna happen.
She's got to learn more of her power, like to do
Yeah, I've
because the Newland she was able to with that fresh power. So now like for Wild
mhm.
Isle, she has to like learn how to use her powers to grow everything. And then that's where like we learn though that she believes that he chose her out of obligation and not fondness because he grieved her mother. Okay, and then arriving back on Light Lark, Azul informed them that the rebels were spotted. Whispers from their spies say they're coming from Star Isle. There's more tunnels underground, but are dead ends. And this is where Ella confirmed she saw them, but she believes there's starlings among them. Excuse me. But she didn't recognize any of them with their masks on. No one else knows about these tunnels and the crypts. They were built to house the many dead and to hide them from everyone else on the island. Ella also stated that it's so they can get past the creatures that took over the east side of the Star Isle. I'm curious what kind of creatures though. Like she didn't really describe. She said monsters.
Yeah.
So what do their creatures look like? And I'm sure I wonder if though like we'll probably have to
Maybe it's
encounter
their
them.
Yeah, maybe it's their version of, like, how you had the Vinderlands,
Mm.
um, and then maybe if, like, the Drekks were the bad part of
Mm-hmm.
the Nightshade that were in prison, and then you have the Vinderlands who are the, um, denounced bad portion of the wildlings before the curses. And then didn't the Moon Isle have something? No, the Vinderlands went to I think or
On
maybe
the
they just
outskirts.
travel around or it's kind of like yeah. But maybe each one
I
has
don't think
something. Or maybe that's their like ancient creatures that took over because Aurora never really seemed to give a shit about fucking Star Isle anything ways that everything was like turning to shit
and that's why they were
in the
hiding.
first
They had to
book
hide.
and so maybe they were just like, "Oh, we're just gonna fucking take over this portion of it or whatever," and they're just some really bad things. Then
I
again,
do
they're
love
probably like little tiny mice.
yeah, with big
Horror
scary teeth.
stories like, "Don't go over there. There's
The
like a shadow of like this giant thing," and then it's like this tiny little beaver or something.
the you've seen Hotel Transylvania, the the last one, like the newer one, the little guinea pig gerbil, and it's got like the long fangs when it's like this like huge thing. Maybe that's what they are. I always have something to like reference what something looks like.
I
That's what I
know.
kind of picture is like this huge gerbil with these like long fangs sticking out. But I do love how that she wants to go to Star Isle alone. Like she knows like this is what I have to do. I'm gonna have to do it alone. Like she doesn't want that help. Like because she knows it's like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, According to Azul's spies, no one else has been attacked or threatened. So why just Isla? She thought it was because she hasn't visited, but Ella said it wasn't because none of them really expected to live past 25, so not many of them had dreams or goals. Like they're thankful that
I
she was
think
able to break the curses.
I think it has to do with, like, it's been twisted about her killing Celeste, Aurora, whatever.
But what about the others? Like the other ones involved that are from like the different isles? Like cuz I can see
That
the
I don't have
star
an
one.
excuse for yet.
Because I did have like that little inkling, like feeling like the Starlings is because, like, oh, you took our ruler, like, you killed our ruler, so you could
Mhm.
have her power. Like, I can see that, but the other realms just haven't fit into that yet.
Yeah.
Unless, who's their leader? Like, is it a certain leader? Like, do we get another bad person, like a bad guy?
Yeah, I don't know. I
Um,
don't have a reasoning for any of the other ones just yet.
yeah, neither. I just need a little bit more, like, before I can like build onto that.
But I also agree that it doesn't make sense that they had hurt her. They could have killed her, which would have led to the deaths of all wildlings and starlings. Um, so like why would the starlings take that chance?
What they just got their lives back.
Yeah, they got a new lease on life. Like why would they take the chance of doing that knowing that they're going to fucking die also? It doesn't make sense.
It has me nervous. Like, I hope it's not Marin. Slightly nervous. Like, did she just go to that meeting to get like the heads up of what's gonna happen? Like, get information? Because we haven't seen her
I don't
since. We
know.
haven't seen her since. So, like, is she leading these?
Well,
I hope not.
I don't
I hope not.
know.
I have
I
like a
don't
good
okay.
feeling. I have a good feeling about her, but the same, I have like this little inkling because we haven't seen her since.
Here's me giving her the benefit of the doubt, which blew up in my fucking face the first time. But we may not have seen her because Isla has been on Wild Isle
Mm-hmm.
and Wildling, Newland, whatever.
The Newlands.
Um, and with not being able to get over to Star Isle, Marin is probably the closest person that knows what to fucking do over there. So she's probably
Maybe.
just trying to hold down the fort with Isla not being able to get over there. So that's me giving her the benefit of the doubt. But we'll find out because you know how that worked for me the first time.
I mean, I have like I feel positive about Marion, but there's that like inkling little. Well, maybe somebody's behind it though. Like, I haven't figured that portion out yet. Somebody's behind this rebel group. Like, who's their leader?
I don't know. Like,
And
it's
when
going to
was
be
it started?
somebody.
Was it started still during the curses when Aurora was around? Like,
No,
was
I feel
Aurora
like,
technically the leader at first, and this is kind of like their revenge?
I don't know. I don't know. I need more information to kind of
Yeah.
draw more of a conclusion or like a suspicion of somebody. Marin is up there, but
I want to
I
say
don't know.
positive for
I
her though.
Bitch is gonna play a big part in this book. I don't know yet which way it's gonna go. She's either gonna get the startling power and be announced the ruler and have her own coronation because Isla has too much shit going on, or she's gonna fuck her over, just like Celeste.
I hope not.
Aurora. I don't think she's gonna do that to her back to back though.
You never know though. I mean, Star Isle's got some
Cut my
like
girl some slack, man.
Star Isle's
Like,
got those two-faced bitches in there
well,
that'll use you.
yeah.
Okay, so back in her room, Isla saw Grim in her mirror, ready for war. So he had his battle suit. I'm gonna call it a battle suit. His helmet. What you got?
I think it's how she thinks.
I think she's conjuring it up in her head.
I think I think if she is seeing him, it's not the way she thinks she's seeing him. She's going to automatically assume like he's fucking ready for war. He
See, that's what I'm
is
saying.
plotting against us. He is going to come at us. And it's not. He's he's getting ready. He's preparing to protect and like join in the fight. Like he's not going to betray them. Like he's so close to getting his love back. He's not
See,
gonna go and attack her. That like he's preparing himself for whatever's fucking coming. And
right.
she's now like, he's coming for me. Like
And
he's getting
again,
ready. She's gonna tell Oro, like, oh my god, I seen him. And I wonder now though, if she'll tell him that she's slowly remembering stuff or she's seeing him. Maybe not so much the memories, but that she's seeing him as if he's watching her. And then she happened to see him get ready for war. And then Oro's gonna be like, all right, we've got to fucking do something. Like, we need to start preparing now for
or is
whatever he
he
might do.
or is he preparing for like the Drex attack? Like we don't know
And
like if those really
that's
belong
what
to
I think.
Nightshade. Like
Hmm.
they just went that way.
Yep. I think that he's preparing for whatever's coming. And she automatically assumes that it's because of her, because of everything that everybody has said. Oh, he's gonna attack. He's just like
Hmm.
his father. He's gonna
So
do
it's
this. He's
like
gonna do that, just like his father. And dude's just over there casually preparing for whatever the fuck is coming. This big dread, the underbelly, whatever it is about
right.
to rise up. And they're like, oh my god, he's coming
See,
after her.
and like she's just conjuring it in her mind because like she wants to believe one thing and then everybody else is in her ear like, "Oh no, he will do it. You know, he'll kill innocent people." You know, like so I can
Hmm.
see why. And like with her powers, you know, the way they are,
Yeah, we don't know what her nightshade power is. So it
if
could
it's trying to
be,
control, if it's like trying to control her, it could just be throwing things way out of proportion.
yeah,
So it could be like one thing, but her mind's showing her a whole totally different thing.
yeah, that's exactly what I think it is.
But she took a branch and turned it into a blade, but when she used it, it stabbed right through the room because he was no longer there. That's pretty much how it ended, at least on that chapter. So we read further on. What was I had like this like thing in my mind and I totally it had to do with Grim in the mirror. But I completely blanked.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I don't remember.
All right. So, next week we are doing pages 110 to 168.
I'm hoping we get a little bit more backstory in one of those chapters. I haven't looked at like the names. I try not to read it, like read the names ahead. I just
Yeah,
try to
I
go
feel like
along.
not every, and I have noticed that with this one, um I don't know if I picked up on it in the first one if it was like that, but the names of them are like she'll quote in a
And
sentence or something like key clicking into a lock and everything, like
yeah,
he
and
used
then
that as
links.
referencing like her powers and stuff. And
Remember the
so
first I think excuse me. I think it did. I just never picked up because I think we more reference to those chapters as chapter numbers because they were numbered. These ones
mhm,
are not numbers, it's just chapter names. So I think that's
yeah.
why we're kind of like picking it up more because we're looking at the names of the chapters more. But I have so many questions and I need a little bit more. I want to come up with like this really good theory and I don't have much except for her conjuring like ideas of what Grimm looks like right now, like or what he's
Yeah.
doing. That's not what he's doing.
My big theory is just that she's gonna be the center of whatever's coming. Like,
Or like she's conjuring it up, like the Drex, like in her
yeah,
mind, because in her mind she thought something was coming or like Grimm was coming, but maybe she kind of like subconsciously like brought this upon them, not meaning to.
maybe that's part of her nightshade power.
Like she can conjure up like enemies, like save me,
Well, not even so much
or not
like
enemies, but like
conjuring them
creatures
up, but like
summoning.
calling on them, calling them to where, like she might have released the Drex from their prison because she had anxiety about the coronation and being a ruler.
Not meaning to.
But either way, I think she's the center. Like she's connected so much more than anybody realizes. And I think it'll have to do with her nightshade. She's gonna be the center of it. She's she could end up being the fucking darkness herself.
Like I said, like I've been saying, it's like nobody's there to teach her. So she's neglecting it. Like she hasn't looked yeah, she's looking into her wildling because that's her first one, but she hasn't looked into her starling, which I'm assuming is gonna be second. But by the time she gets to the nightshade, I think the nightshade's gonna try to control her when she should be looking into that as well.
Yeah,
But she's gonna have to pull the stick out of her ass and get a hold of Grim because he's gonna be the only one to help her before they take over and control her.
yeah, agreed.
I need something to happen though in these next few chapters. I think I'll be okay with
I don't know.
filler ones. I know the first one's like Cinder or Cider. Is it Cinder or Cider? The next chapter name?
Cinder.
That's all I know.
Oh, I just seen a chapter name.
Ah, is it a past one?
Oh, we do get a past one. I did see that. But there's one called Golden Rose, so maybe he finally gives her a
Mm,
flower.
just give me a real one.
Mm,
It's
no, I
cheesy.
mean,
It's cheesy when you say I love you till
okay,
the last
listen.
one
You know what?
dies and it doesn't
I
die. It's a
don't,
little cheesy.
I don't like gold, but
Give me a white one. Give me a white rose. I prefer white roses over any colored rose.
White or pink for me. White or pink for
Black.
me.
Black ones are
Um,
gorgeous though too. Grim could give
I
her
don't
the
know. I
black
guess I
one.
would take a real one because then I would dry it out and keep the petals. So
She could make it into a crown. She could probably keep it living forever
I
with
still
her
have the
powers.
first I still have the first bouquet of roses Derek ever bought me in our relationship when we were like 17. I dried them out and I
Daryl's
like pulled
never.
the petals off the
I
stems.
lied.
I pulled the petals off the stems and I have this little heart-shaped jar that I put them in and then I have it sitting on my dresser and I've had it for almost 20 years.
Daryl's never bought me like flowers just because. Although when we got back from vacation, he let me pick out a new set of flowers to put on the island. That's about it. Otherwise, he hasn't bought
Derek
me
doesn't
like.
let me do nothing. I'm gonna buy myself some $5 flowers from Walmart because I
Listen,
fucking want to.
I haven't bought me flowers since. I need to, but I
I
have
like
to.
getting those little $5 daisy
Yes,
bouquets that are like
yes.
colorful, or when
Or
they
the
have their
sunflowers.
4.97 lilies. When they have their 4.97 lilies,
I
those are my
got
favorite, and I'll buy like three
sunflowers.
different colors.
I got sunflowers and white roses one time,
Pretty.
but I have to kind of buy him when he's not just to buy him. Otherwise, he'll tell me no. So I just buy him when he's not with me, which
Cute,
isn't very
cute.
often. I know. I know. Listen, I spend enough at the
Cute,
grocery
cute.
store. Spend enough at the grocery store, so $5 to
It is
$10 bouquet of
ridiculous.
roses is a lot. That's good. I do need to get some more. Get some. Okay,
Honestly, that's how I used to buy myself flowers. I'd fit it into the grocery budget.
I need to. I need to. I want to start
I'd be
fresh
like,
flowers.
nah, I don't need these little dubbies this week. We're buying flowers. I could get $10 in flowers for $25 in Little Debbie's because them bitches are expensive. Big Deborah's.
Listen, I haven't had. I know it's not Christmas, but I haven't had a Christmas tree in like 5 years. I want a
I'm
zebra
surprised
cake.
Little Debbie. I'm surprised Little Debbie has not jumped on the gluten-free train with like most of their shit.
Listen, I'm still waiting for cookies to come out. All I got is Oreos and chocolate chip cookies. They're supposed to be what Nabisco is supposed to be making all their cookies gluten free. Like their Oreos are good, chocolate chip are.
They're probably like, yeah, fuck y'all. We're not building a whole other factory for some gluten free or putting in a gluten free line so y'all ain't contaminated.
Listen,
Like,
listen. There's a
rude.
place outside of Columbus, and like they make like donuts and pastries and muffins. Them bitches are $40 for 6 muffins. I can make them for cheaper. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
but
baked fresh.
they're
They're
like, yeah,
baked
we're about to
fresh,
make
but
bank.
like
They're like, we're about to make bank. Who the fuck wants to bake them themselves when they can just come give us money?
I will bake them myself. I pay my streusel ones. I can make streusel muffins that are like the coffee cake ones that are so good. $5 for the box mix, okay? Granted, eggs are
Good
like
too.
expensive. Eggs are expensive, but
They've come
like
down a little bit, but yeah,
they
they
take
are.
like a lot of eggs. But they're still good. I will make them myself so then I can get more than 6 out of them because I don't make the big ones. I can get like 8 of them for $5 and whatever eggs cost. I will take that
Eggs
over
right now are about $5 depending on what you get. So $10 versus 40, that's cool.
plus the gas to like drive the 40 minutes to this place.